Have you ever wondered if the man in your life is secretly more in love with you than he lets on? Those fleeting glances, the subtle shift in his voice when he speaks to you, or the way he seems to notice the smallest details about you. Could these be signs his heart has already chosen you, even if his words haven't caught up, based on Carl Jung's profound insights into the unconscious? This video unveils the hidden signals of a man's soul when it's deeply moved by love, revealing truths he may not even realize himself. You need to watch this video until the end because it goes beyond surface-level romantic cliches, diving into the authentic, unspoken ways love manifests. You'll discover how his silences, subtle actions, and unconscious behaviors betray his deepest emotions, helping you decode mixed signals with clarity. By understanding these signs, you'll gain the confidence to trust your intuition and see love where logic alone might miss it. From subtle shifts in attention to powerful transformations in his inner world, we'll guide you through Jung's symbols of the soul, ensuring you don't overlook the quiet, transformative force of true love. Stay with us. This could change how you see his heart forever. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please click the subscribe button and ring the notification bell to stay updated on all our latest content. Here are the unmistakable signs that his soul has chosen you, signs that can speak louder than any words or logic. Even if his mind hasn't fully caught up yet, that man who might seem distant or withdrawn or perhaps surprise you with moments of sudden closeness might be more in love with you than he realizes. Love doesn't always follow a linear path or make itself known through neatly organized thoughts. Sometimes it weaves its way through dreams, through the tender, lingering gaze he doesn't even notice, through the way his behavior subtly shifts when you're near him and only with you. It's in the quiet moments, those small yet powerful gestures, that speak volumes. Jung once said that what remains unconscious often manifests in our lives, as fate and love, my dear, is no exception. If he hasn't yet recognized what he feels, don't be deceived by the silence or hesitation. His soul, the deepest part of him, is already moving in ways that he might not even understand. So how can you truly know if he's in love? What signs does his unconscious give you? How does his heart, his emotions speak when his mind can't quite put it all into words? This won't be a surface-level discussion. I'm not here to discuss text messages or those overused cliché romantic gestures. No, we're going much deeper than that. We're going to dive into what Jung called the symbols of the soul, the subtle yet profound ways a man communicates when something shifts deep inside of him, when his very being starts to vibrate with emotions he can't quite explain. Even if he can't say it outright, there are clear indicators that reveal the depth of his feelings. And before we continue, I want you to tune into each of these signs, because too often we make the mistake of waiting for grand declarations, promises, or those overly dramatic gestures, when in reality, the most valuable thing is often overlooked: the way someone's inner world shifts when you're a part of it. Jung taught us that true love isn't something we choose or control. It's not something that can be planned or engineered. It's an inevitable force that disarms our defenses and connects us to the most essential part of ourselves. It is as if love is drawn to us not by logic, but by destiny. So, open your heart and sharpen your intuition as we explore the following signs. If you've seen even one of these, or if you start to recognize them, understand this: he is deeply moved by you, probably much more in love than his rational mind is ready to admit. His soul is already speaking to you, even if his words have yet to catch up. Now let me take you through these signs from the most subtle to the most telling. It's not just about confirming whether he loves you. It's about seeing how someone's soul responds to the power of real love. When a man is profoundly touched by a feminine presence that shifts something within him, even if he can't articulate it, his behavior will begin to change in ways that he cannot control. And the first unmistakable sign is in the way his attention shifts. It's not about the obvious performative kind of attention, the kind that is calculated trying to impress or gain something in return. No, this is something much more authentic, much more subtle. He begins to notice the details, the things that most people would never think to notice. The way you carry yourself, even when you say "I'm fine," and he can sense that you're not. He picks up on the small things, like the change in your hairstyle, even though you didn't mention it, or how your voice sounds different on a particular day. This kind of attention comes from something much deeper than mere interest. It stems from a genuine connection from a part of him that reaches for you, even when he doesn't fully understand it himself. Jung believed that true emotions project themselves into the world, so we can see them. This is how this type of man responds, not out of a calculated strategy, but from an inner calling, a force that drives him to be near you, to pay attention to you. It's not about seeing you every day, but he finds himself thinking of you even when you're not around. At unexpected times, he might mention something about you, bring up a conversation he forgot to finish, or show up with no clear reason other than to be near you. And it's not out of habit. No, it's something more profound. It's his unconscious pulling him toward you. He's processing emotions, feelings, and desires that he hasn't yet defined, but that are leading him in your direction. This isn't obsession or dependence. This is emotional resonance. Your energy has touched something within him, and it speaks to him without the need for words. Another powerful sign is how he changes when he's with you. Some men treat everyone the same, no matter who they're with. But when a man is truly in love, even if he doesn't yet fully realize it, his behavior with you will be different, subtle yet undeniable. Something shifts when he's in your presence. It's as if you've awakened something in him that he didn't even know was there. And you'll start to see it in the way he looks at you, the way he listens to you, the way he shows up in your life without you having to ask. He may start to show a more vulnerable side, perhaps appearing more open or even a little clumsy. And here's the truth. True love doesn't make someone look flawless. It makes them real. Love has this unique power to disarm, to take down the walls that we so carefully construct around ourselves, leaving us exposed and human. If you start to notice that he lowers his guard only around you if his silences with you don't feel awkward but instead seem deep, then what you're witnessing is something that runs deeper than mere passing attraction. But there's more, much more that you should take notice of. Jung believed that what the soul loves, it protects. And if his soul has begun to resonate with yours, you'll start to see it in ways that seem entirely illogical to him. He may begin to show concern for you in ways that don't come from a place of control, but from something far more profound, a desire to make sure you're okay. Maybe he checks if you're warm enough, if you're walking safely at night, or if you're eating on time. These actions aren't about trying to dominate you or make himself seem important. They are expressions of a silent devotion rooted in the depths of his being. It's as if, without even realizing it, he feels responsible for your well-being, as if his balance is somehow tied to yours. And when that happens, when a man starts to care for you, with this quiet, almost imperceptible devotion, without demanding anything in return, without expecting applause, it means something powerful. It means that in the depths of his soul, he has already made you a part of his life, of his inner world. Even if he doesn't understand it, even if he refuses to admit it, even if his mind isn't fully on board, his soul is already fully connected with yours in a way that transcends logic. If you are witnessing these signs, if you feel these subtle shifts in his energy, don't dismiss them. Don't confuse his lack of verbal clarity with lack of depth. What is unfolding within him is far greater than it appears on the surface. His soul has already begun to speak, and you need to pay attention. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons helpful, please comment number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. And stay with me, because what's coming next will dive even deeper into those signs, those powerful, subtle manifestations of a connection that only true love can create. There are moments when words are completely unnecessary. When a man is in love, truly deeply in love, his energy speaks louder than any verbal declaration could ever do. His body, his presence, it all says it for him. Maybe he hasn't told you he loves you yet. Maybe he hasn't promised you a future or made grand gestures, but you can feel it in the way he watches you, in how his breathing changes when you're close, in how his silence when you're together is not an absence of words, but rather an all-encompassing present. It's a moment when his soul connects with yours, when nothing else matters except the shared energy between you. There is no need for words, just the depth of being together. And here's something to draw attention to: how he reacts when others speak about you. If you're in a group and someone praises you, observe their gaze. How does it shift when your name is mentioned? If someone criticizes you, notice how their expression changes. Love doesn't need to be spoken out loud to defend what it values. It's an instinct, a primal protective force that activates even when his mind is still struggling to catch up. Jung was right. Our unconscious has its pathways And many times our deepest emotions guide us in ways we don't yet understand. And then there's the effort. The effort is perhaps one of the most understated yet powerful signs of love. When a man truly cares for you, he'll put in effort, even in the small, seemingly insignificant things. It doesn't need to be some grand gesture or dramatic display of affection. It might show up in how he listens to you and how he remembers things you said months ago, in how he adapts his time to fit yours, or in how he humbly apologizes when he feels he's fallen short. That silent effort speaks volumes. It tells you everything about how much he values you. Someone who doesn't care doesn't move. Someone who loves will rearrange everything in their life not to impress, but because their world has shifted in ways they never anticipated. And this change, it's real, it's profound, and it's happening right before your eyes. When a man is deeply moved by your presence, something shifts in him, often in ways that are not immediately obvious. It's like a ripple that spreads through his world even when you're not around. His routine, once rigid and predictable, begins to feel different. His thoughts become more scattered, less organized. He might seem distracted, even distant at times, as if his mind is elsewhere. There's a kind of restlessness that takes root, a feeling that something inside him has been awakened, yet he can't quite explain it. And through it all, you are there, constantly present in his thoughts, his emotions, and even in the habits and routines that once seemed automatic, but now feel out of place. You're not physically there, but emotionally, mentally, you've already made your mark. Jung spoke about the powerful influence of internal figures, the deep psychological impact someone can have on another's soul, even without physical presence. And here you are, a figure that occupies his inner world, whether he realizes it or not. You've somehow slipped into the fabric of his subconscious. And even though he may not admit it, even though he may deny it, you've already taken root in his mind and heart. This is where many women, especially those looking for clarity, can become confused. Men often don't speak about their feelings, not because they don't feel deeply, but because translating the language of the heart into the language of reason can be a monumental task. The language of love, of deep connection, is far more complex than the logic they can readily express. But this is where you, with your intuition and attention to detail, can perceive something deeper than what he may show. If you pay close attention, you can see what he hasn't fully acknowledged, that his heart has already made a decision. It's not about what he says, but how his emotions are subtly being shaped by the presence you've become in his life. There's a quiet transformation that takes place in a man who is truly in love. And if you allow yourself to notice the small shifts, the way he starts to move through life differently, you will begin to see a clearer picture of the love that is quietly blossoming. This is not about immediate grand gestures or loud declarations. No, it's the quiet, subtle changes that reveal the deepest truth. His soul is responding to yours in a way he's never experienced before. There's a transformation that occurs in the heart of a man in love, one that is often so slow and imperceptible that it might be hard to catch at first. It's a transformation that doesn't announce itself with fireworks, but instead with a deep, quiet shift in his behavior. Perhaps before he resisted commitments, kept a healthy distance from others, or maintained a certain level of emotional detachment to protect himself. Maybe he lived a life that was comfortable in its individualism, not needing anyone or anything to feel whole. But since you've come into his life, since your presence began to make a difference, something within him has shifted. He starts to think beyond himself. It's no longer just about his needs, his wants, his desires. There's an expansion in his heart, a willingness to open mental and emotional space that he once reserved just for himself. This isn't something he does out of obligation or as a conscious sacrifice. No, it's more natural than that. It's as if his soul is rearranging itself, adapting to a new reality. A reality where you are now a significant part. It's a gentle transformation, one that he doesn't always recognize right away, but you can see it in the way he begins to share parts of his life with you. And I'm not talking about just the mundane details or surface-level facts, but the intimate pieces of himself that he's never shown to anyone before. His past mistakes, his deep fears, the dreams that he's buried for so long, the parts of him that he once kept hidden away. When a man opens up to you in this way, it's not because he's trying to impress you or win you over. It's because he's beginning to trust you in a deeply profound way. And this trust is not just a fleeting gesture, it's a quiet surrender. It's an unspoken admission that you have become someone he feels safe with, someone he can share the most vulnerable parts of himself with. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons helpful, please comment number 2 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. That kind of surrender may seem small in the grand scheme of things, but it is without a doubt the most powerful proof that something has deeply changed inside him. Jung once said that the soul needs a mirror to know itself, and you, my dear, have become that mirror for him. When he looks at you, he sees not only you, but a reflection of himself, a version of himself that he may not have known existed. This process of self-discovery, of opening up to you in ways he's never done before, is his way of showing you just how much you've become a part of his world. And there's another subtle yet significant shift that happens when he is deeply connected to you. His emotional synchronization with you. Not everyone can truly understand or manage the emotional intensity of another person. But when a man is truly in love, he begins to resonate with your emotions in an almost instinctual way. He feels your joy as if it were his own, and he shares in your smiles and laughter. But he also feels your sadness, your worries, your concerns. And when he perceives that something is off with you, even without words, his energy shifts. It's not about him always asking, "Are you okay?" though. Sometimes he might. It's in the way he looks at you, in the way he softens his voice when he speaks to you, in the way he approaches you with a tender kind of urgency, even when he doesn't know what to do, but just feels the need to be there for you. These are the signs, the silent expressions of a love that speaks without words, a love that is not confined to logic, but instead thrives in the depths of the heart and soul. That silent desire to be there for you emotionally, even without knowing how, is one of the truest and most honest signs of unconscious love. It's a raw, unspoken gesture that speaks to the depth of his feelings. And perhaps the most revealing sign of all is what happens when you're not physically present. Notice how he behaves when you're not around. Does he mention you spontaneously in casual conversations? Does he save stories or thoughts to share with you later? Does he find himself thinking about you when something significant happens, even when you're not there to be part of it? If in those moments of absence you remain a constant in his mind, his emotions, and his thoughts, then there's no mistaking it. He's more in love with you than he can even admit to himself. What remains constant in the absence is often stronger than what is openly expressed in the presence. It's not just a coincidence when this happens, it's the soul speaking. This isn't about playing guessing games with someone's emotions. It's about learning how to read with your heart, to feel the subtle messages that the soul sends when words can't quite reach. Because love doesn't always arrive with perfect sentences or clear-cut answers. It often comes in the form of signals, the quiet ways our hearts recognize another soul. Stay close, because what's coming next will reveal how love begins to act when it can no longer be contained or hidden. There is a stage in a man's heart when, even without fully realizing it, he starts to need your presence not out of habit, but as a form of emotional balance. He may not express it with grand romantic phrases or rehearsed declarations, but his energy will change when you're not around. It's subtle, but unmistakable. You'll notice it in his impatience when he doesn't hear from you, in the way he shows up just as you start to forget about him, or in how any excuse becomes valid if it brings him back into your world, even if only for a fleeting moment. This isn't an obsession. It isn't emotional dependence. It's a genuine connection, the kind that runs so deep that even he can't explain why he finds himself thinking about you so much. And according to Jung, this makes perfect sense because the unconscious is not bound by logic or time. When a true emotion takes root, there it shapes thoughts, impulses, and decisions in ways that don't always make sense on the surface. One of the most powerful ways this manifests is in how he starts to value your opinion, even on matters that seem unrelated to you. Suddenly, you might notice him sharing his life plans with you, asking what you think, not because he's trying to impress you, but because deep down, he genuinely cares about how it fits with you. It's not about seeking validation, but about silently letting you know that you have become a guiding figure in his emotional world. He might even begin to confide in you about his doubts, his moments of insecurity. And this is not because he expects you to act as a therapist or because he doesn't know how to handle his own emotions. It's because he's found in you a safe space, a presence that allows him to show himself as he truly is, without armor, without strategies. This vulnerability isn't forced. It arises naturally, as if his soul has found its counterpart in you. And when a man reaches this level of emotional openness, when there are no more barriers between you, that's when you know something profound has shifted. Love is not built on certainties, but on the ability to be vulnerable, to open up without fear. The trust he places in you, even without fully realizing it, is one of the purest expressions of deep, transformative love. And the confirmation of this love often comes in the way he starts to imagine a future with you in it. Even if you haven't suggested it, even if you haven't talked about it, you'll notice it in the subtle way he mentions the future. Maybe he'll say, "Someday I'd love to visit such and such place," and suddenly you realize you're already included in that vision. It's not something he explicitly says, but it's clear in the way he imagines his life unfolding there beside him in the world he envisions. That's love making its presence known quietly, yet undeniably. And those small, seemingly insignificant phrases, those spontaneous images that emerge in passing conversations, these are open doors to his unconscious. In those fleeting moments, he reveals more than he realizes. In his mind, you are no longer just a temporary guest in his life. You have become a stable, integral part of his ideal world. You belong even before he's fully conscious of it. There is no need for you to pressure him, no need to demand clarity or explanations. When the soul loves, it shows itself through the simplest gestures, those that don't require words, yet speak volumes. If you notice these signs, if his energy, his actions, and his attention are naturally inclining toward you with increasing frequency, then what exists between you is real. Even if he doesn't understand it yet, even if he doesn't dare to admit it out loud, it's real. The mind may not have caught up with the heart, but when the soul has chosen, the rest is just a matter of time. In that time, you can see with the eyes of the soul, even when the mind still hesitates to speak the truth. And in these moments, the truth of his love is already beginning to take shape quietly but undeniably. Stay with me, because there's more to uncover. When a man starts to look at you as though you are part of something he can't bear to lose, something profound begins to shift in his way of relating to you. This change, however, is not superficial. It's not about him being more affectionate or seeking your company more frequently. It goes deeper than that. It's about how his soul starts to reorganize his world around your existence. Because when feelings are genuine, the other person stops being an accessory, and they become an essential part of the whole. You'll notice it in how he begins to prioritize you without saying a word. Maybe he has a complicated day ahead. Maybe a million things are demanding his attention. But somehow, in the middle of it all, he makes the effort to be present with you. Not because he has to, but because he genuinely doesn't want to be anywhere else. Because being with you, even in silence, brings him a sense of peace. And peace, in the context of love, is often an underrated emotion. Yet it's one of the most vital. Love isn't just about excitement or butterflies. It's about that calm sense of being with someone who allows you to simply exist. True love The kind that Jung recognized as transformative is found in those quiet, peaceful moments of connection where both people can just be. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons helpful, please comment number 3 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. True love isn't about needing to impress each other, to put on a show, or to hide behind perfection. It's about accepting each other, flaws and all. And when a man begins to feel at peace with you, when he feels that he can lower his guard, be imperfect, and still be loved, he begins to see you as home, not a physical place, but an emotional refuge. Home is where we can be our true selves without the fear of judgment. And when he starts to feel that about you, it changes everything. And that's when he begins to align with you in ways you may not have even asked for. Maybe he starts to enjoy the things that bring you joy, even the things that once seemed unimportant to him. He becomes interested in your passions, your thoughts, and the things that make you come alive. It's not that he loses his individuality. He still retains his uniqueness, but he discovers something beautiful in sharing what once belonged only to him. This is no coincidence. According to Jung, when two souls begin to resonate with each other, the internal boundaries soften. That's when true intimacy begins, not just the spark of desire or the thrill of attraction, but that deep, unspoken sense of belonging to each other. And pay attention to how he defends you, especially in your absence. You might not hear it, you might not even see it, but in small moments when you're not around, he'll take a stand for you. It could be in a conversation where your name comes up and he instinctively speaks in your favor. He doesn't do it to gain anything or to win approval. He does it because deep inside, he knows that protecting you is part of protecting what he's begun to love. Love in its truest form doesn't always shout. It's in the quiet moments, the unspoken actions, that its depth is revealed. And when he does this, when he silently defends you, you'll know. You'll know that his heart is fully committed to you, whether he's ready to say it yet or not. ChatGPT said, "Sometimes love doesn't need words. It doesn't need grand declarations or public displays. Sometimes it simply acts. It speaks through the smallest gestures, the quietest acts of care that no one else might even notice." And let me tell you, that kind of love, the love that defends you, even in silence, the love that stands by you without ever needing to announce itself, is the most powerful kind of all. It's pure, it's real, it's unwavering. So, if you've noticed this in him, if you've seen how he begins to shift his routine without even realizing it, if he starts to take care of you in the invisible moments that no one else sees, if he's thinking of you when making decisions that matter to him, then don't ignore it. These aren't just coincidences or random actions. You are witnessing something profound. You are witnessing a truth that is emerging from his heart, a truth that even he might not fully understand yet. He might not even know why he's doing what he's doing, but his soul knows. His actions are speaking louder than any words could. And that's where love is born. It's born in the place inside us that hasn't been jaded by fear, that hasn't been corrupted by logic, and that hasn't been scarred by past wounds. True love emerges from the purest parts of us, the parts that are untouched by the conditioning of life. It's that raw, unfiltered connection that doesn't need explanations because it just is. Stay close, because what follows will take you even deeper. We are about to reach the most intimate, profound signs of a love that can no longer hide itself, that no longer can remain silent. It's love that has evolved to a place where it can't be denied even by the person feeling it. The deeper truths are about to unfold, truths that once revealed will change everything you understand about love and connection. As we wrap up, I want to ask you, what have you learned today? What signs of love have you recognized, whether in yourself or someone else? Think about the deeper, quieter moments that speak volumes, the love that is felt through gestures and energy, even when words are left unsaid. What is one thing that resonated with you and that you'll bring into your own life or relationships? I'd love to hear your thoughts. So please leave a comment below and share one thing you've learned that you'll practice moving forward. And if you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss out on more insightful content like this. Thank you for being here, and I look forward to hearing from you in the comments